Saturday morning, June 3, 2023. Tallahassee, Florida. A man calls the police to report his 12-year-old daughter missing. He tells them she slipped out of the house overnight while he was away at work and that she took her rainbow backpack with her. Almost no one is surprised. Lori Paige had run away before, and every time, she came home within a day. So the report goes out the way these often do, as a child who wandered off and will turn up by dinner. Officers check the abandoned apartment where she was found the last time. They knock on her grandmother's door. And when they canvass the street, they notice a neighbor's doorbell camera pointed straight at the front of the house. But the camera shows no girl leaving in the night. It shows no one coming or going at all. It will take 2 years, a fire lit on purpose in a Georgia forest, and a search dog walking through the ashes, before anyone understands what that empty footage really meant. This is the crime almanac. Everything in the next few minutes is drawn from a sworn police affidavit, from court records, and from local reporting in Tallahassee. Where prosecutors offered a theory they never got to prove in a courtroom, we will tell you plainly. Lori Paige was 12 years old, a student at Griffin Middle School on the north side of Tallahassee. The people who knew her describe a quiet, watchful child who could read before she was 4. She loved anime and art. She spent hours on Roblox and Minecraft. She carried a rainbow tie-dye backpack that everyone recognized. One of the adults at her school, a paraprofessional named Margaret Summers, remembered a girl who was, in her words, extremely dedicated to her schoolwork, who hated being late, and who wanted her teachers to be proud of her. She had also had a hard start. Her mother, Miranda, was 17 when Lori was born. Over the years, Lori moved between relatives, and about a year before she disappeared, she came to live with her father, Andrew Wiley, in Tallahassee. By the spring of 2023, classmates were noticing that Lori did not want to go home. She told friends she felt unloved. She told at least one of them that she was afraid, and more than once she ran. When Andrew Wiley reports Lori missing that June morning, the story he gives is simple. He works nights. He left for his shift, and when he came home, she was gone. But the details do not settle. The neighbor's camera, with a clear view of the house, never records Lori walking away. Officers who speak with her grandmother, Lori Paige, find that the grandmother knows more about the girl's life, her friends, and her hiding places than the father does, and where a frightened parent might be frantic, Andrew Wiley comes across to the officers as distant, and at moments annoyed. Detectives search the house and find no sign of where Lori went. A tip sends them to a registered sex offender living nearby, and they clear him. They chase a rumor, pass between students, that Lori had been in contact with an older man, and it leads nowhere solid. What does become clear is that something at home had been wrong for a long time. Friends tell detectives that Lori said she was mistreated, that she came to school sad, that she was scared to walk back through her own front door. The days become weeks. The weeks become months, and a case that opened as a runaway quietly turns into something else. About 6 months in, detectives learn that Andrew Wiley has left Tallahassee altogether. He has moved across the state line to Thomasville, Georgia, and he did not tell the police he was going. By early 2024, investigators sit him down for a formal interview, and his account begins to come apart under simple questions. He is asked whether he left town in the days around Lori's disappearance. He says a friend needed a ride to the airport in Jacksonville. But the friend's name is not on any flight. Andrew Wiley's name is. A one-way ticket, Jacksonville to San Juan, Puerto Rico, bought for the day after he called the police. He had driven toward the airport that night, and then, for reasons he never explains, turned around and came home. Andrew Wiley was a corrections officer. He worked inside a state prison in nearby Monticello. And when detectives seized his white Dodge Charger from the prison parking lot and searched the apartment he had moved to in Georgia, the record they built was damning. Inside the car, the state crime lab identified Lori's blood, soaked into the carpet on the front passenger side. The floor mats were gone. In the vehicle, investigators found a cleaning product labeled for its ability to remove blood. In his home, they found phones that had been taken apart or wiped back to the factory, and a replacement computer bought to stand in for one that was never recovered. Then there was the phone data, which does not forget. In the days before Lori was reported missing, Andrew Wiley's phone had searched for remote areas and bodies of water across Alabama and Georgia. It had searched the words dead body, alongside the name of a national forest. It had searched, where do police look to find missing kids? And in the pre-dawn hours of June 2nd, the phone traced a drive out of Tallahassee, across into Thomas County, Georgia, down a dirt road called Mitchell Road, and into a wooded field, where it stopped, and then turned back toward home. For almost a year, that field kept it secret. The brush was too thick to search. Then, on April 5, 2025, the owners of the land set a controlled fire to clear the undergrowth. When it burned away, a search team went back in with cadaver dogs, and in the cleared ground, within about 100 feet of where Andrew Wiley's phone had stopped 2 years earlier, they found the remains of a child. 6 days later, DNA confirmed what the search team already feared. It was Lori Paige. Andrew Wiley was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. A judge ordered him held without bond. Why a father would do this is the hardest part of the record, and here we stay close to what the state actually said. In June of 2025, State Attorney Jack Campbell told reporters that the evidence pointed to what he called a horrific sex crime and a murder he believed was meant to hide it. Campbell said Andrew Wiley may have gotten his own daughter pregnant or given her a sexually transmitted disease, and that those were things a man would find hard to explain. Investigators had noted an emergency contraceptive purchased in the days before Lori vanished, and a doctor's visit where Wiley sought treatment but refused to be examined. We want to be careful here. Lori's remains were skeletal by the time she was found. There was no autopsy that could confirm a pregnancy. What we have is a prosecutor's account of a motive, not a jury's verdict. Because there would never be a jury. On the evening of June 19, 2025, a little more than 2 months after his arrest, Andrew Wiley collapsed inside the Leon County Jail. He was pronounced dead that evening. The preliminary finding was natural causes, a pulmonary embolism, a blood clot in the lungs. He was never tried. He was never convicted. Whatever a courtroom might have settled, it never will. What is left is a 12-year-old girl who told her friends that no one would come looking for her, and who was, for 2 years, proven almost right. The people of Tallahassee did come, in the end. They gathered at Cascades Park with candles and played her favorite songs. They filled a church for her memorial. And one after another, they said a version of the same thing, that the city had to do better for the next Lori Paige. She was a girl who could read before she was 4. Who wanted her teachers to be proud of her, who carried a rainbow backpack to a school she loved, past adults who, again and again, did not see how much trouble she was in. The record of this case is long and detailed and sworn. But the one thing it can never give her family is the day in court where all of it would have been said out loud. If this story sits heavy with you, that is right. And if any of it is close to your own life, or to a child you know, help exists. In the United States, the Child Help National Child Abuse Hotline is open anytime at 1-800-422-4453, and you can reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline by dialing 1988. For the Crime Almanac, thank you for watching, and for remembering Lori Paige.